When people think about saving money in retirement, they usually focus on cutting expenses, smaller homes, fewer trips, tighter budgets. But one of the biggest financial decisions often gets overlooked: where you live. Because in the United States, some states don't just reduce your tax burden, they remove it entirely. These are the states with no state income tax. No tax on wages, no tax on pensions, and most importantly for retirees, no tax on Social Security benefits. Let's start with the full list. Number 8. Alaska. Alaska is the most misunderstood state on this list, and also the most unique. When it comes to taxes, Alaska does something no other state does. It has no state income tax, and it does not tax Social Security benefits. But it also goes one step further. Instead of taking money from residents, Alaska actually pays them. Through the Permanent Fund Dividend, eligible residents receive an annual payment funded by oil revenue. The amount changes each year, but for retirees living on a fixed income, that check can feel like a quiet bonus, not life-changing, but meaningful. For retirees, this means your Social Security check arrives untouched by the state. Your pension stays whole, and there's no income-based clawback at the local level. Now for the reality check. Alaska is not cheap in the traditional sense. Groceries cost more. Heating is essential, not optional. Travel to the lower 48 is expensive and requires planning. This is not a convenience-driven lifestyle. But Alaska offsets those costs in subtle ways. Property taxes are moderate, there's no statewide sales tax, and many rural areas qualify for energy assistance programs that significantly reduce utility expenses. Healthcare access varies by region, but senior-focused services and telehealth play a major role. The biggest adjustment isn't financial, it's psychological. Alaska is quiet, vast, isolated. Winters are long and serious. Social life is smaller, but communities are tightly bonded. People here rely on each other, not systems. For the right retiree, someone who values independence, space, and predictability, Alaska offers something rare: financial neutrality. The state doesn't tax your income, doesn't pressure your benefits, and doesn't nickel and dime your retirement. Alaska isn't for everyone, but for those who choose it, retirement doesn't feel managed, it feels respected. Number 7. Florida. Florida is the most well-known retirement state in America, and for one simple reason: it keeps things straightforward. Florida has no state income tax. That means Social Security benefits are not taxed, pensions stay intact, and retirement withdrawals aren't reduced at the state level. When your check arrives, what you see is what you keep. For decades, this tax structure has made Florida a magnet for retirees. But taxes aren't the only reason. Florida also offers strong homestead protections, which limit how much property taxes can rise on a primary residence. For retirees who own their homes, this creates long-term stability and predictability. Healthcare access is another major advantage. Florida has one of the largest healthcare networks in the country, with specialized senior care, Medicare-focused providers, and retirement-friendly infrastructure already in place. That matters as much as taxes, sometimes more. Now for the honest part. Florida is no longer cheap everywhere. Coastal cities and popular retirement hubs have seen sharp housing and insurance cost increases. Homeowners insurance, in particular, has become a real concern, especially in high-risk storm zones. This is not a state where you can ignore location-specific costs. But Florida remains flexible. Inland towns, smaller cities, and less publicized regions still offer reasonable living costs without sacrificing the tax advantages. For retirees who choose carefully, the numbers still work. Florida also has no estate tax and no inheritance tax, which quietly matters for long-term planning and family stability. The lifestyle is predictable: warm weather, no winter heating bills, an established retiree culture. You're not explaining your needs, the system already understands them. Florida doesn't offer isolation or novelty. It offers familiarity, simplicity, and a tax structure that doesn't interfere with your retirement income. And for millions of Americans, that combination is exactly what makes Florida feel less like a destination and more like a decision that makes sense. Number 6. Texas. It does one thing very clearly: it steps out of the way. Texas has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed, pensions remain untouched, and retirement income stays whole at the state level. For many retirees, that single fact changes the entire financial equation. But Texas is not a one-size-fits-all state. It's enormous, and where you live matters more here than almost anywhere else. Property taxes in Texas are higher than the national average, and that's how the state funds public services without an income tax. For homeowners, this can offset some of the tax savings unless you plan carefully. Seniors over 65 qualify for property tax exemptions and tax rate freezes, which can significantly reduce long-term costs. Healthcare is one of Texas's strongest advantages. The state has world-class medical centers, large hospital networks, and extensive Medicare provider availability. Whether you're in a major metro or a mid-sized city, access is rarely the issue. Now the trade-offs. Texas summers are intense. Heat isn't seasonal, it's structural. Energy costs rise accordingly, especially during peak months. Housing prices vary wildly, from very affordable rural areas to extremely expensive urban cores. But Texas offers flexibility. Smaller cities and secondary metros often provide affordable housing without sacrificing access to healthcare or basic services. There's also no estate tax or inheritance tax, which adds another layer of long-term planning security. Culturally, Texas values independence. Regulations are lighter. Taxes are simpler. The system assumes you want to manage your own life, and then lets you do it. Texas doesn't promise comfort. It offers control. And for retirees who want their Social Security check to arrive untouched and their financial decisions to stay personal, Texas remains one of the clearest choices on the map. Number 5. Nevada. That is often associated with bright lights and fast money, but for retirees, its real value is much quieter. Nevada has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed, pensions stay intact, and retirement withdrawals are not reduced at the state level. For anyone living on a fixed income, that simplicity matters. The financial appeal doesn't stop there. Property taxes in Nevada are relatively low compared to national averages, and the state places caps on how much property taxes can rise each year. That creates predictability, something retirees value more than discounts or incentives. Healthcare access in Nevada depends heavily on location. Larger metro areas like Las Vegas and Reno offer strong hospital networks and specialized care, while rural areas require more planning. Still, Medicare coverage and senior services are well established in populated regions. Now for the trade-offs. Nevada's cost of living varies sharply. Las Vegas has become more expensive, especially for housing, while smaller towns and secondary cities remain far more affordable. Summers can be extremely hot, and water conservation rules are a permanent part of life. Sales taxes are higher than average, which is how Nevada balances the lack of income tax. That means everyday purchases can add up, though retirees often offset this by reduced commuting and lower overall consumption. Nevada also has no estate tax and no inheritance tax, which makes it attractive for long-term planning and family considerations. Lifestyle-wise, Nevada offers space, sunshine, and personal freedom. There's less regulation, fewer bureaucratic hurdles, and a general sense that the state prefers not to interfere. Nevada doesn't market itself as a retirement state. It simply removes barriers. And sometimes, the best financial benefit isn't what a state gives you, it's what it chooses not to take. Number 4. Tennessee. It is one of the quiet success stories in American tax policy, and many retirees haven't fully caught on yet. Tennessee has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed, pensions stay intact, and retirement withdrawals are untouched at the state level. In recent years, Tennessee eliminated its final income-based tax, making it fully income tax-free for the first time in modern history. For retirees, this change reshaped the financial math. Your monthly check arrives whole. There's no state deduction waiting in the background. What you plan for is what you receive. Cost of living in Tennessee remains below the national average in many areas, especially outside major cities. Housing is still attainable in small towns and mid-sized cities, and utility costs stay reasonable thanks to relatively mild winters. Healthcare access is another strength. Tennessee is home to major medical systems and regional hospitals that serve both urban and rural populations. Medicare participation is strong, and senior-focused services are widely available. Now for the honest side. Sales taxes in Tennessee are among the highest in the country. That's how the state balances its budget without income tax. For retirees who spend heavily, this can add up, but many fixed-income households still come out ahead due to the absence of income taxation. Property taxes, on the other hand, are relatively low. For homeowners, that balance often works in your favor. Tennessee also has no estate tax and no inheritance tax, which adds long-term stability for families planning ahead. Culturally, Tennessee offers a slower pace, strong community ties, and a lifestyle that doesn't feel engineered for retirees. It simply accommodates them. Tennessee doesn't advertise retirement benefits. It just quietly makes retirement easier. And for many Americans, that low-profile approach is exactly what makes Tennessee worth a second look. Number 3, Washington. This often surprises people on this list, not because it's tax-free, but because it looks expensive on the surface. Washington has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed, pensions remain intact, and retirement income stays whole at the state level. From a tax standpoint, the state steps completely aside. But Washington funds itself differently. Sales taxes are high, and housing costs in major metro areas like Seattle are among the highest in the country. That's why Washington is a state where location matters more than the headline. Outside the urban core, the picture changes. Smaller cities and rural areas offer more manageable housing costs, while still providing access to healthcare networks and senior services. For retirees who don't need a downtown lifestyle, Washington can be far more practical than its reputation suggests. Healthcare access is one of Washington's strongest advantages. The state has top-tier hospital systems, strong Medicare participation, and excellent specialty care. For retirees with ongoing medical needs, this can outweigh higher living costs. Now the trade-off. Washington relies heavily on sales tax, which means everyday spending costs more. The state has also introduced taxes on certain capital gains, which do not affect Social Security, but may impact retirees with significant investment income. Washington has no estate tax exemption for small estates, and higher value estates may face taxes, an important planning detail for wealthier retirees. Lifestyle-wise, Washington offers natural beauty, mild summers, and a culture that values privacy and independence. The weather is gray more often than sunny, which matters for some people more than taxes ever will. Washington doesn't market itself as affordable. It offers something different. For retirees who value healthcare access, natural surroundings, and a state that doesn't touch their Social Security check, Washington remains a powerful, if carefully chosen option. Number 2, South Dakota. This is one of the most straightforward states on this list. No fine print, no asterisks. South Dakota has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed. Pensions stay intact, and retirement income is untouched at the state level. When your check arrives, it stays exactly as issued. The state also keeps other taxes relatively low. Property taxes are moderate, and there's no personal property tax on vehicles in most cases. Sales taxes exist, but the overall tax burden remains among the lowest in the country. Cost of living in South Dakota is below the national average, especially in smaller towns and rural communities. Housing remains affordable and utilities stay manageable even during colder winters. Healthcare access is better than many expect. Regional hospitals and medical centers serve the state efficiently, and Medicare participation is strong. For retirees, essential services are available without the congestion and complexity found in larger states. Now for the trade-offs. South Dakota winters are long and unforgiving. Cold is a defining feature, not a season. Snow, wind, and isolation can challenge those who are not prepared for a slower, quieter lifestyle. Entertainment options are limited, and travel often requires long drives or planning ahead. This is not a state for people who thrive on constant stimulation. But South Dakota offers something increasingly rare: predictability. There are no sudden tax changes, no complex income rules, no shift in policies targeting retirees. What works today is likely to work tomorrow. South Dakota also has no estate tax and no inheritance tax, which simplifies long-term planning for families. South Dakota doesn't sell a lifestyle. It offers stability. And for retirees who value simplicity, low taxes, and a state that stays out of the way, South Dakota quietly does exactly what it promises. Number 1. Wyoming is the quiet anchor of this list: steady, restrained, and deliberately uncomplicated. Wyoming has no state income tax, which means Social Security benefits are not taxed. Pensions remain untouched, and retirement income stays whole at the state level. There are no income brackets, no deductions to calculate, and no annual surprises. Property taxes in Wyoming are among the lowest in the nation, which is one of the most overlooked advantages for retirees. For homeowners, this often means long-term affordability without needing exemptions or special filings. Sales taxes exist, but remain moderate compared to many other states. Healthcare access is solid for a low-population state. Regional hospitals and clinics cover essential care, Medicare participation is strong, and residents often benefit from shorter wait times. Rural living does require planning, but services are reliable. Now for the trade-offs. Wyoming is sparsely populated. Towns are far apart. Winters are long, cold, and serious. Wind is constant, and isolation is part of the lifestyle. This is not a state for people who rely on convenience or constant social activity. But what Wyoming offers is consistency. The tax structure is stable. The cost of living is manageable in most areas. There are no estate taxes, no inheritance taxes, and minimal bureaucratic interference. The state assumes self-reliance and then supports it quietly. Culturally, Wyoming values privacy and independence. People don't interfere, and the government largely follows that same philosophy. Wyoming doesn't promise excitement. It promises non-interference. And for retirees who want their Social Security check left alone, their expenses predictable, and their lifestyle undisturbed, Wyoming stands as one of the clearest examples of financial freedom through simplicity.